Welcome to the Adventures in Alchemy podcast, where we share tips, techniques, and true stories to support you in using the law of attraction and alchemy to create magic and live the life of your dreams. Here's your host, the founder of DailyAlchemy.com, Michelle Martin Dobbins.
Hi guys, it is Michelle Martin Dobbins, and this is the Adventures in Alchemy podcast. Welcome, everyone. I have maybe what sounds like a strange question today for you, but the answer to this question is very important on how you live your life and what happens and what comes up for you in your daily life. So, without further ado, the question is, what follows you? So that may seem strange, and if you're like me, you might be saying, little kids. And right now, a brand new puppy. So I hope you guys don't hear too much whimpering in the background. She is not happy at being in her little kennel, but we are going to soldier on here. So what follows you? And let me give you a little bit more background into what I mean. Does good luck follow you? Do sunshines and rainbows and unicorns and happy events follow you? Or do you feel like there's a gray cloud following you or bad luck? I have two people who, one is an acquaintance of mine. Well, I guess they're both acquaintances or people I come into contact with. And I want to tell you a little bit about the stories that they've created about what follows them and how it affects their lives as a whole. So I'm going to start with a magical story. This lady just utterly delighted me. She has been cutting my children's hair for years since we moved here, some of them since they've been born. She's not been the only person that's cut their hair, but she works at a children's haircut shop. And she's actually worked at two different children's haircut shops that we've went to. And she's just always been a great stylist, but I wouldn't say that she was necessarily a happy person. I always noticed she was pretty stylish and she was very nice and very good at her job, but I wouldn't say like very happy. And recently my children went to get their hair cut. And, you couldn't help but notice that she was different. And I'm not going to say her name because I'm not telling her that I'm doing this. And I don't know doubt that she listens to my podcast. But I'm just going to say Mary. So Mary, I was like, oh my goodness, Mary, you look fabulous. And she looked amazing. She radiated, she glowed, and she was always stylish. But she had the purple hair rocking, and I mean, the purple glitter eyeshadow, but it just looked amazing and beautiful on her. Her outfit was like just cute as could be. But the thing that really, there were two things that really stood out to me. One was she had lost a great deal of weight, and as she told me later, was 70 pounds. But she just beamed. She radiated with joy, and she was just so happy. And this was not my experience of her before. And so, I said, you look great. You look like you've lost a bit of weight. And she's like, yeah, I didn't try to. She said, but I've been to a doctor. I'm not sick. She said, I had a bad divorce. And, divorces, of course, are stressful things and not something that I would say lightly do. But in her case, it may have been a rough transition, but I think it may have been a great divorce because her personality had just flowered open. And we had the most delightful talk, and she usually didn't really talk much while she cut the hair. But she told me about like how excited she was and how much she loved cutting kids' hair and all these magical plans that she had and how she wanted to eventually retire and she wanted a house shaped like a shoe. And she was going to, cut kids' hair and be a daycare because she just loved kids. And she was so joyful that she was doing what she loved. And it was almost as if, and this is me putting things in there that previously in her life that maybe she wasn't, and I don't know, maybe her husband didn't share her enthusiasm for the things that she loved. But now she was definitely in a place where she was just like so excited about life, so excited about like she was doing stuff that she loved and that she had all these plans. And I loved this one thing that she said, which was a great law of attraction tip. And I have no idea that she practices any of this. I didn't bring it up to her, but she said, when I win the lottery, and then she went, no, I don't have to win the lottery to have the house that I want. I'm going to have that house. And I said, you go, girl, you can have it. You got the right attitude. So I loved that when she started putting it in like, if I win the lottery, then I'll get it. And then no, I'm going to do it. And if you see yourself starting to go down that path of like negative or, well, if someone did this or this, if this happened, I could have it, to, yeah, I'm going to have it. I mean, I'm not going to be surprised if this lady has exactly what she wants, because A, she's happy in the moment, and B, she's open and believing in the possibilities for herself. So those are two wonderful attributes that she recently acquired or recently has started sharing with the world. But another thing that she shared with me is something that relates to the question that I asked you at the beginning. What follows you? And she said, I am the luckiest person alive. She says, I want to tell you a secret. She goes, people don't believe me. They think I'm crazy, but rainbows follow me. And I was like, really? That's awesome. And she was like she was showing me pictures on her iPhone of how like there was a rainbow here, there was a rainbow there was a rainbow, there rainbows in the dark coming through, her in her house with no lights shining. She's like, they're everywhere. And you could tell it was such an uplift for her. And it was something, she saw the rainbows and she kept looking for more, looking for more, looking for more. And so she is enforcing that belief that rainbows follow her. And she felt that the rainbows were a message of, hey, you're on the right track. Enjoy life. And, for me, I see feathers a lot, and it doesn't have to be, a thing like that. It can just be good feelings or good connections, or you're always meeting people that you really like, or, synchronicity follows you. But I believe that she saw a rainbow and she decided, that she was going to focus on those. And that's, maybe she saw a few in a few days, and that helped her decide that the rainbows were following her. But you can make that decision for good things to follow you in your life. Right now, you can decide. You can ask for a sign from the universe. But the best way to start seeing things is to start looking for them. And, looking for synchronicities. That's one of the fun things that I just love, how things just click up together in life. And, so she is just a powerful example how what you follow makes a big difference in your life. Okay, so as I was saying, Mary, she chose to let rainbows follow her. And she opened up her life to joy. And that's a choice that we can all make. We can open up to joy. We can also be aware of where we're choosing to let things follow us that we might not want to invite in. And I want to share with you a story of an acquaintance of mine and my husband's who talks about how he has bad luck. And when he bad luck follows me everywhere is something that he says. And his wife will say, it's true. I didn't know it was true till I started dating. I was like, oh, you're silly, but he has the worst luck of anybody I know. And I was thinking, as someone's wife, I don't know if I would want to consider my husband the most unlucky person. He married me. But anyway, it's a story that they have both bought into, that he is unlucky, that anything bad can and will happen. And it's almost just crazy how they're looking out for bad luck and, oh gosh, this happened and that happened. And anybody, who hears their story would be kind of like, yeah, you got that bad luck. And he does seem like he has bad luck, but he's looking for it. He's always looking for something to reinforce that story. So he may have had a few things that happened. He decided to focus on those. But Mary decided to focus on rainbows. So what are you going to focus on? What you focus on is what's going to follow you. It's going to stick with you. It's where you're going. It's, and what's going to be along for the ride. So do you want to have a doomy, gloomy ride, or do you want to have a rainbow ride? Okay. I'm going for the rainbow ride. And of course, as I've said, I'm a big fan of seeing feathers everywhere. Love, love, love the feathers. And I wanted to just tell you one more thing about creating your own stories. Even if there's a story that somebody else, the whole world has, or lots of the world has, I don't think the whole world has any story totally the same. But there are lots of groups of people who put stories on certain things. This is my 113th episode. And a lot of people have a story that the number 13 is not lucky. But for me, I have created a story that 13 is my lucky number. And good things always happen when there's 13 around. Friday the 13th is always like a fantabulous day for me. And that's what happens. And honestly, I don't know that if I set out to do that story. I think I just one day, it was Friday, because when I was a child, I bought into that, all those superstitions, and that's what everybody's telling me. But I think one day I just had a great Friday the 13th and decided, why do I have to buy into this? It's my lucky day. I also do this with Mercury retrograde. I was born during Mercury retrograde, which a lot of people freak out about. And it's really a time of quiet reflection, which is probably one of the reasons why I love it so much, because I'm pretty much a very quiet, still kind of person, more internally, meditatively focused most of the time. So it's a perfect time for me. But I always say Mercury retrograde, I'm a Mercury retrograde baby. Mercury retrograde's got my back. Nothing goes wonky for me during Mercury retrograde. And that's my story, and that's what happens for me. So look at the stories you're telling. What do you tell people follows you, or what do you think follows you? Change that story. All you have to do is decide differently. Because Mary, I don't know what her old story was, but it was definitely different from Rainbows Follow Me, because she was not the joyful, blissful, delightful personality. I mean, I'm sure she was in there, but she was not fully expressing it like she is now when she decided that rainbows follow her. So you get to decide today what follows you and start looking for it. Start seeing it follow you. Have a wonderful day. Namaste and big hugs, and I'll see you next time. Would you like some help creating more magic in your life? I've got a ton of freebies and goodies for you. They're all tucked away inside my magical freebie vault. You can get free access, though. You just have to go to www.dailyalchemy.com/magical-freebie-vault. Again, that's dailyalchemy.com/magical-freebie-vault. And when you get there, you can just plug in your name and email, and you will get instant access to all kinds of goodies. There are daily and weekly manifesting planners, the How to Shift Your Vibe in 5 Minutes e-kit that has audios and a workbook. There are moon manifesting planners and daily love lists and money trackers and all kinds of goodies right there. I didn't want to make you have to go to a bunch of different pages and sites and wait for certain freebies to come out. So I just took all of my freebies and put them in one place where you could just sign up one time and download any of them that you want at any time that you needed. So you can just head on over to dailyalchemy.com/magical-freebie-vault and download them today. Have a magical day.
Thanks for listening to the Adventures in Alchemy podcast. Connect with me on thedailyalchemy.com or Facebook at facebook.com/Michelle Dobbins, author. Join us next time for even more magical life tips.